All right, you know what? The culture war is a battle between people who live in the real world and lunatics. I'm gonna say it. I know that's not really. It's hard to quantify what the left and the right is, but look at this. How a new meme exposes the far right roots of No Nut November. Okay, the people on the other side of the culture war, the authoritarian types, whatever you want to call them, it's not really left versus right because you have many progressives like the intellectual dark web, for instance, that are very pro-freedom. However, because of Trump being anti-PC, you end up with a lot of people being more for Trump. It's complicated. It's really hard to quantify. But I will tell you this. This is insane. This is it. This is a new horizon of insanity. We've crossed into the ocean. We've seen now the veil lifted. If you're seriously going to try and link No Nut November, which is a joke, I know some people take it seriously, I guess, but it's a joke. And you're going to try and tie this to the far right? Okay, that's it. You know what, man? These media companies, this is absolute psychosis. But they know what they're doing. It's for clicks. They get it. And I tweeted something earlier from Jimmy Kimmel back in 2015. He said the news companies don't care if the story is fake because the way they see it is they get two stories out of it. The initial fake story goes, they get traffic from it, and then they get traction from the update, if that's the case. They make money no matter what. The way I put it is, this story is so psychotic. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. Let's say the Rolling Stone puts this story out, it gets 1 million views, and then a day later they retract it and say, oops, guess what? They still got paid. The million views still sold ads. They can apologize later. That's a huge problem. Seriously, dude? They are now, and they put PewDiePie in this. I kid you not. It never ends. PewDiePie, there's nothing you can do. You will always be far right. Everything you do, always. They have even found something as stupid as a joke about No Nut November. Okay. There may be some more adult language. I'll try and keep things toned down as I do, but for those that have kids listening, okay? This is the month where you're supposed to abstain from self-pleasuring, okay? But it is, for the most part, a gag. At least that's my understanding. I mean, I don't think I'm an expert on the meme, but I'm pretty sure it's a joke, right? Nope. No, not according to Rolling Stone. Rolling Stone is trying to claim that this is rooted in the alt-right, the far-right, the Proud Boys, and all of these other things that were just either ironic or stupid. You know what, man? So the Proud Boys, right? Yeah, they have a rule where you're not supposed to wank it. I don't know too much about how they go about their business or what they're involved in. I know, surface level stuff about the Proud Boys, so I assumed it was meant to be a joke. I mean, the way Gavin McInnes and, other people described the creation of the Proud Boys, the whole thing was kind of a gag. And then sure enough, it's become more serious, I guess. But you're not supposed to. This is what they're trying to say. They're trying to say that No Nut November is basically tied to the far right. Let's read. On its surface, No Nut November is a fairly innocuous challenge. While it may seem silly to abstain from masturbation for virtually no reason, some of the memes are pretty funny. And a month of abstinence, whether it be from coitus or masturbation, certainly isn't going to kill anyone. Yet, it would be naive to ignore that there's significant overlap between the anti-masturbation ideology behind NoFap and to agree, No Nut November, and the far right, which has increasingly co-opted the movement. No, what are you talking about? Dude, PewDiePie did a video about symbols. And he was like, he said what a lot of us say. He says what I've said before. You gave them the symbol. Of course they're going to use it. They're trying to make it so that only people that, you know what, man? Here's the problem. There could be a photo of you making the OK sign in the past. And they will take that photo today and say, aha, there it is. That's proof. And you're like, dude, AOC had a photo and everyone was like, aha, it's proof as a joke, right? If you've ever posted a meme about No Nut November, they are now trying to set the stage. This is the important thing about how framing and activism is working today. I tell you this, it's very important. I read a story. I know I've talked about this quite a bit, but it's a really good example. There was a Fox News story claiming that Seth Rich had contact with WikiLeaks. I read that story. I was asked about it. I said, I'm not completely convinced that's true. Turns out Fox News retracted it, so I was technically correct. But because the context of that news story no longer exists, they go back and try and claim, aha, Tim was talking about fake news. No, I wasn't. I was talking about actual credible stories from Fox News, which turned out to be wrong and was retracted. CNN's done the same thing. New York Times, everybody's retracted. Simply because I talked about a story that was presumed to be true because I trusted a news outlet doesn't mean anything. Now let's bring it back to this. You post a meme. Check it out. The Coomer meme, that's what they're talking about. And it's supposed to be, they even try claiming it's got Semitic features. Are you kidding, dude? It's an image someone made in paintbrush. You post this meme and endorsed by PewDiePie. Yup. And now they can take this, change the context, a year later say everybody knows this was a far-right, ideological push. Aha, PewDiePie talked about it, that proves it. Ignoring the fact that PewDiePie was talking about a meme, they ascribe future context to the past. It's what's happening. And it's making everybody insane. Let's check this out. A new meme brings these implications into sharp relief. Coomer is a reference to a meme of an unkempt, skeezy-looking bearded man in a white tank top with vaguely Semitic features. What? What are you talking about? Accompanied by descriptive text like, doesn't even know anything about politics, extremely aesthetic right arm, huge muscle, and has never heard of NoFap. What's Semitic about it? What are you talking? I don't, to a hammer, everything looks like a nail, right? It's been circulating on 4chan for the past year. But Alex Hawkins, the vice president of the site Xhamster, says he started seeing it in the replies of his company's Twitter feed back in September, when presidential candidate Andrew Yang tweeted about limiting access to adult content. You see, I have an automatic filter for these things because YouTube will shut my channel down, unfortunately. At first, we didn't really know what it meant and thought it was funny, he tells Rolling Stone. Then in late October, the Coomer resurfaced thanks to a Twitter campaign in which users vowed to change their avatars to the Coomer should they fail No Nut November. PewDiePie shouted out the campaign in a recent YouTube video, as did far-right YouTuber Paul Joseph Watson, who is perhaps best known for being one of the many extremist figures, including Milo Yiannopoulos and Alex Jones, to be banned from Facebook. No Nut November and the Coomer meme represent a deeper meaning, he said in a tweet. Porn is evil. It literally rewires your brain and causes erectile dysfunction. Take the pledge. Don't be a Coomer. You know what, man? I just tell people, I just do your thing. Chill out. To an extent, sure. I think, one of the reasons I kind of do like the intellectual dark web a lot more than your standard fare of internet commentators is that there's a lot of doctors and scientists and sexual neuroscientists, and, I take their word for it. Not, hey, look, Paul, you do your thing, right? You make your YouTube videos. I'm going to defer to the scientists and all that, and I get it. You might say the same thing. I'm just going to not talk about it. I'll put it that way. And it's because it's a joke. Who cares? No November. It's a silly thing. There's also No Shave November. Where did that go? But you know what, man? The term has also been used in the context of OK Coomer, a play on OK Boomer meme, in response to tweets critical of No Nut November or masturbation abstinence in general. It's positioned as this epic battle between the weak beta masturbators and the strong alpha no-fappers, says Hawkins. Is anybody really taking it that seriously? I just don't see it that way, right? So anyway, I think you get the point, but check it out. It gets better. They say, the implication is clear. Masturbating is an urge that should be resisted at all costs. David Lay, PhD, a clinical psychologist and therapist who studies porn and mental health, saw the meme after he tweeted his criticism of No Nut November, referring to it as a creepy little smorgasbord of insecurity-driven hate with anti-Semitism. Wait. A creepy little smorgasbord of insecurity-driven hate with anti-Semitism, misogyny, and homophobia all rolled up into one. I gotta clap for that, man. You're able to take a stupid paintbrush picture and some mutterings on the internet and jam in it anti-Semitism, misogyny, and homophobia. What does not whacking it have? What does it have to do with any of this? It's so insane. They, of course, bring up the Proud Boys. The Proud Boys, for instance, a far-right extremist group known for its propensity toward violence, has long advocated for its members to abstain from masturbation on the grounds that it boosts testosterone and makes them more appealing to women. Indeed, founder Gavin McInnes gave a shout-out to NoFap in a 2015 article for the far-right publication Takis Magazine. They're insane. Pornhub points out, They don't see any real dip in traffic at all in November. It's probably because it's a joke, and most people don't really take it that seriously. I'm sure some people do. This anti-Semitism is often, what are they talking about? Are they implying, what is this? What are they trying to say about Jewish people and whacking off? Okay, I am confused. This anti-Semitism is also often accompanied by healthy doses of homophobia and racism as well. On these threads, you'll frequently see users deriding men who masturbate to heterosexual porn on the grounds that being aroused by, you know what, man? They go into a forum, they find a handful of people saying stupid things, and they say, this proves it. And they actually try claiming, you know what? We're gonna level it up one step. Okay, so they want to rag on this stupid joke. Fine, you're allowed to. What if I told you that social media would actually ban specific uses of emojis? Congratulations, we have graduated to a new era of stupid. Facebook, Instagram ban on the sexual use of eggplant, peach, sweat drop emojis. What? How do you ban an interpretation? How do you know if I'm using the peach? Maybe it is. Are people going to make ambiguous posts now on purpose? So you have to choose between over-policing or under-policing? I kid you. What is... We truly live in the most absurd of times. I think this is a great lesson for kids, right? So if you find yourself as a young person, let me use these stories to show you. Adults have no idea what's going on. See, when I was younger, there was a point where I could always ask my dad a question. He had the answer to it. But it's because I was young and the questions were simple. Why is the sky blue? Well, it's because of particulates and other things in the atmosphere, and the light that's being bent and the light that makes through tends to be blue, et cetera, et cetera. Moisture and water droplets, vapor, et cetera. And I'm sure I ruined that in some capacity, but you get the point. There are some questions that most of us have a general understanding to, right? You know, how do magnets work? That's always been a big funny meme. But eventually when I got older and I had a more complicated question when I was, 18 or 19, and all of a sudden it was like, I'm not an expert in that. You know, you've got to take that question up with somebody who knows. And all of a sudden I was like, whoa. And then I got older and I started working for companies, and I do a lot of research. I read all the time, right? So I would read something very specific about, say, how like a machine worked, and then I would talk to somebody and they would have no idea. And I'd think, if you work at this company and you have no idea how, you work at a cafe and you have no idea how espresso is made or what the beans are, like, if you don't know anything about it, the reality is adults know very little. That's the fact. You know, the kids you grew up with, imagine those kids, but take that kid and put him in charge of a factory, right? They might have memorized a routine or some system, but there's no guarantee an adult has any idea what's going on more than anybody else. And that's, I guess, kind of a scary thing. But that's why you see I'm surprised humanity has done as well as it did. I'm impressed, humans, seeing this stuff, and I'm like, how is it that we haven't just destroyed everything by now? I mean, maybe it's just timing. Maybe we'll get to that point where we're going to ban all symbols and everybody will have shaved heads wearing gray jumpsuits. Emojis are forbidden because we don't know if the way you're using it might be offensive. Check this out. We've gone from, we're going to ban you if you say a bad word, to, we're going to ban you if you contextually use emoji in the wrong way. Oh, man. You know what? This is why I built the van, right? Got a van. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm just going to get in that van. I'm going to go drive out to the woods, and I'm just going to sit back and go fishing all day and say, you know what? You take your weirdos. I think the big problem is media, though. Media is shaping perspective. It's disseminating false information. It's twisting people. It's making things crazy, as exemplified no better than this story from Rolling Stone. How is No Nut November anti-Semitic? Well, you can see they tried their hardest and they squeezed it in somehow. Yes, that's right. No Nut November, a video by PewDiePie, that's all anti-Semitism, and okay, you know what? Congratulations. For me, I don't care. I never cared about the joke, the meme, or whatever it is. Some people, you want to take it seriously? I don't care either. So go ahead, Rolling Stone. You can go ahead and give this one to the far right. Yeah. But you see, here's what's going to happen. Here's the point I was making earlier. A year from now, when they firmly establish that No Nut November was founded by the alt-right, and they will use this Rolling Stone story, which is psychotic, on Wikipedia, they'll look back a year and say PewDiePie promoted it. That proves PewDiePie is an anti-Semite. That proves, all of these things about PewDiePie. Even though the context was PewDiePie's video was before this article, in fact, precipitated it. But nope. Strip the context, reverse the flow of news, and a year from now, no one will know. They'll just say, we know the meme is anti-Semitic. We know PewDiePie supported it. Therefore, PewDiePie is an anti-Semite. Context to be damned. I'll see you all in the next video, youtube.com/Timcast at 4 p.m. I hope you enjoy the world that we have all contributed to.